When the night deepens and silence gathers like a soft cloak around you, let your thoughts drift into the gentle world of birds, those fragile companions of the skies whose wings hold mysteries older than time. Imagine lying beneath the velvet expanse of darkness, where the hush of your breath mingles with the faint memory of feathers stirring in distant forests. As you relax, allow the quiet presence of these creatures to guide you into a state of calm wonder, each thought gliding smoothly, like wings gliding across still air. Birds are not merely animals. They are the poems of the natural world, living verses written on the canvas of the sky. And tonight, as your body slows, they will reveal to you their quiet truths, one secret at a time, unfolding like dreams. The first secret lies in the very structure of their feathers. Each feather is not just decoration, but an intricate miracle, a lattice of lightness and strength. It is built from keratin, the same substance that shapes your nails and hair, but organized with such delicacy that it can catch the air, slice through currents, and shimmer in sunlight like threads of woven silk. When you think of a bird, imagine not just wings, but a garment made of countless feathers, each one a perfect design balancing fragility and resilience. This delicate engineering allows even the smallest bird to ride the invisible rivers of wind as if the sky itself were a gentle ocean. As you breathe, you can almost feel those feathers brushing softly against your imagination, inviting you to float where gravity loosens its hold. Beyond their structure lies another wonder. Birds are descendants of dinosaurs, carrying within their tiny frames the echoes of giants who once roamed the earth. When you watch a sparrow tilt its head or a heron stretch its long neck, you are glimpsing a lineage that stretches back millions of years. Yet instead of scales and teeth, evolution gave them feathers and songs, turning thunder into whispers and flight. To think of this is to realize how life transforms, how even something vast and fearsome can soften into beauty, just as your own day's heavy thoughts can fade now into gentle dreams. Birds remind us that change is not an end, but a transformation, a reshaping into something that still carries memory, but drifts lighter in the present moment. Their hearts, too, carry a secret rhythm. Unlike yours, which beats steadily as you drift toward rest, a bird's heart races with astonishing speed, hundreds of beats each minute, a tiny drum keeping pace with their restless flight. And yet, despite this intensity, their existence feels calm when you watch them perched quietly, feathers ruffled by the breeze. It teaches a paradox. One can be full of energy within, yet appears still and serene on the outside. Just as your body tonight may be alive with silent processes of renewal while your mind drifts into tranquility, birds live in this delicate balance of motion and peace. This is a reminder that rest is not the absence of life, but the harmony of it. Another hidden truth lies in their hollow bones, which are not empty weakness, but secret strength. Nature designed them as light as air, their frames filled with delicate struts that give structure without weight, turning the body into a vessel almost as buoyant as the wind itself. Imagine carrying your own worries with such a design, hollowing them out until only strength remains, no heaviness to anchor you, just enough structure to hold you steady as you drift. Birds teach us the art of carrying only what is needed and letting the rest fall away, the way you now let go of your day's burdens as you sink deeper into the softness of your bed. Their songs, too, weave a quiet spell, Each morning, long before the world fully awakens, birds greet the dawn with notes that seem to arise not from their throats, but from the air itself. These songs are not random, but carefully shaped, each species with its own patterns, phrases, and rhythms, some passed down like lullabies through generations. The nightingale, for example, can sing hundreds of different notes, weaving a tapestry of sound that feels endless. To listen is to hear the language of joy, of territory, of love, but also the language of life itself, reminding the earth each morning that it continues. Imagine now, in the quiet of your drifting mind, these songs lingering in the background, not demanding attention, but weaving softly like a cradle song, guiding you deeper into rest. Birds also carry hidden maps inside them, invisible compasses that let them cross oceans and continents without ever losing their way. Migratory birds travel thousands of miles, guided not by landmarks alone, but by the magnetic field of the earth, a force you cannot see, but which they can sense, as if the planet itself whispers directions. This sense is called magnetoreception, a word that carries mystery in its syllables, like a spell. Think of the tiny warbler, no larger than your hand, flying through storms and nights, guided by an unseen hand. As you lie here, you too are carried by forces unseen, your heartbeat, your breath, the deep rhythms of life. And just as those birds find their way, so too will your thoughts find their path into quiet dreams. Even their eyes hold wonders. Some birds see colors beyond what you can imagine, ultraviolet hues that lie outside your human spectrum. To them, the world is not limited to the blues and greens you know, but painted with hidden patterns in flowers, feathers, and even the shimmer of the sky. What you see is plain, they see as radiant with secret signals. It is as if the world carries a hidden script, visible only to those with the gift of perception. To think of this is soothing, for it means that even when things look simple or dull, they may be glowing in invisible beauty, just as your own quiet presence tonight carries unseen radiance. Among birds, there is also the mystery of memory. Some species, like the Clark's nutcracker, can hide tens of thousands of seeds across vast landscapes and remember almost every single hiding place. Their minds are maps, storing detail with precision you could scarcely believe. This gift is not merely survival. It is a testament to the power of memory itself, how the brain can hold on to the smallest details as if they were stars pinned across a mental sky. As you drift, think of your own memories, how some rise clear and others blur like distant songs, yet all are part of who you are. Birds show that memory is both practical and poetic, a way of keeping the future alive in the present. Their wings whisper another truth. Flight is not simply escape, but art. The patterns they trace in the air, the spirals of hawks, the synchronized waves of starlings, the gliding arcs of albatrosses, are like calligraphy written upon the sky. Each movement is a word, each flock a sentence, and together they form an endless book that only the wind can fully read. To watch birds fly is to be reminded of language beyond language, the speech of movement, the grammar of grace. In your own life, every gesture and every breath can also carry such silent meaning, shaping the story you live, even in moments of quiet rest. And finally, birds remind us of resilience. Tiny hummingbirds, whose wings beat faster than your eye can follow, travel across open seas without stopping. Penguins, flightless but steadfast, endure winters of ice with hearts pressed together in warmth. Owls, with their silent wings, pierce the darkness not with fear, but with clarity. Each of these is a reflection of a truth, that fragility can live alongside endurance, that gentleness can survive harshness, and that silence can be its own kind of strength. Tonight, as you sink deeper into sleep, let this resilience wrap around you like feathers, light but protective, reminding you that even in stillness, you are strong. And so the first whispers of the bird's world have reached you, carried gently like a feather on a breeze, soothing your thoughts into softer rhythms. The feathers, the lineage, the hearts, the bones, the songs, the maps, the eyes, the memories, the wings, the resilience, all are fragments of a larger dream, one that you now share as your breathing slows. Let the world of birds rest upon your mind like a warm wing, and as you drift further, feel the story itself folding into sleep, carrying you with it into the quiet sky of dreams. When the night returns and you find yourself once more wrapped in its tender hush, let your thoughts wander again into the world of birds, where each feather, each gaze, each soft murmur holds a secret meant to calm your spirit. Close your eyes and imagine a distant meadow bathed in twilight, where silhouettes of wings drift lazily across the fading sky. In that half-light, the boundaries between waking and dreaming blur, and the voices of birds become part of the evening itself, whispering to you as if they know your need for peace. Tonight, they will share with you more of their mysteries, opening the quiet book of their lives one page at a time, until sleep gathers you in its wings. One of the most tender truths is found in the way birds build their nests. With beaks and claws they weave grass, twigs, moss, and sometimes even fragments of human life, threads, paper, tiny bits of ribbon, turning the ordinary into sanctuaries. Each nest is both fragile and strong, a circle of care that cradles new beginnings. Some species, like the weaver birds, craft intricate hanging chambers that sway with the breeze, while others, like swallows, mold mud into sturdy homes along the walls of bridges and cliffs. To watch a bird build is to see patience made visible, and it reminds you that small, steady actions create spaces of safety. Tonight, as you rest, imagine your bed as such a nest, carefully shaped to hold you with gentleness until the dawn. Another secret lies in the way birds dance together in the sky, a movement known as murmuration. When thousands of starlings gather, they form vast, shifting clouds of motion, weaving and folding across the horizon as if one mind guides them. Each bird follows simple rules. Turn when your neighbor turns, keep a certain distance, respond with sensitivity. And from these small actions emerges a breathtaking pattern that looks almost alive, like a giant organism of air. This is the poetry of the flock, teaching that harmony is born not of control, but of trust, and that beauty arises when many act as one. As you breathe slowly, imagine yourself part of such a murmuration, carried effortlessly among thousands, never alone, always belonging to a greater rhythm. There is also the mystery of courtship, for birds sing not only to mark territory but to woo, to enchant, to offer themselves in melody. The male lyrebird, for instance, can mimic not only the songs of other birds but also the sounds of chainsaws, camera shutters, and even human laughter. His performance is a theater of sound, a way of showing strength and creativity. In tropical forests, Birds of paradise spread their plumes into dazzling displays, colors shimmering like pieces of rainbows fallen into feathers. These rituals are not battles, but dances, declarations of presence made beautiful. To know this is to understand that attraction in nature is often an art, a performance woven of sound and color. As you drift deeper, think of the ways life itself courts you, with sunsets, with fragrances of night flowers, with the softness of cool air, all quiet invitations to fall in love with existence. Yet birds also carry the secret of silence. The owl, master of the night, flies with wings shaped to muffle sound, the edges of its feathers designed like soft combs that break the air without a whisper. This silence is its gift, allowing it to approach unseen and unheard. But it is also a kind of lesson, that sometimes power is quiet, and that stillness can be as mighty as sound. As you lie in bed, let silence become your ally. Not emptiness, but a soft space where your thoughts can dissolve like mist. Just as the owl trusts its silent wings, you too can trust the hush of night to carry you safely into dreams. The resilience of migration offers another gentle truth. Consider the Arctic tern, a bird so small and light, yet each year it travels from one pole of the earth to the other, tracing a path longer than any other animal. From the icy Arctic summer to the endless light of the Antarctic, it flies, guided by instinct, light, and the pull of ancient routes. This journey is a circle, a pilgrimage of survival and faith. To think of it is to realize that journeys need not be hurried, that there is strength in persistence, and that even the smallest body can carry a great spirit across the vastness of the world. Let this thought ease you. Your own journey, though invisible tonight, continues, and in your rest you are still moving toward gentle destinations. Some birds hold secrets not in travel, but in endurance of place. The emperor penguins, for instance, gather in vast colonies through the brutal winters of Antarctica, each bird pressed against the others in a living shield of warmth. They rotate patiently, so that no one bird remains too long at the edge of the group. In this sharing of warmth lies a lesson of compassion, that survival is not about solitary strength, but about leaning into one another, exchanging the gift of protection. As you feel the blanket upon you, imagine it as the wings of 1,000 companions, each giving and receiving warmth until the cold of the world cannot touch you. Another gentle secret is found in their intelligence. Crows and ravens, often seen as omens in ancient lore, are in truth among the most brilliant of creatures. They can recognize human faces, solve puzzles, and even plan for the future. In experiments, they have bent wires into hooks to lift food from containers, showing not instinct alone, but invention. They play, too, sliding down snowy rooftops or tossing sticks for fun. Their dark feathers hold not only mystery, but also a spark of mind, reminding you that intelligence shines in many forms, not always where you expect it. In your own quiet way, as you rest, your mind too is inventing, repairing, and preparing, even when you are unaware. Hummingbirds reveal yet another wonder. Though so tiny, their hearts beat faster than nearly any other, and their wings blur at such speed that they seem suspended in air. They sip nectar while hovering, moving from flower to flower as if stitching the garden together with invisible threads. Yet despite their frenetic energy, they also enter moments of torpor, slowing their bodies into deep rest to survive cold nights. From them, you learn that it is possible to live with intensity and still know when to surrender, to burn with motion, but also to cool into stillness. Tonight, you too may hover briefly among thoughts before folding yourself into the sweet rest of sleep. Even the shapes of their beaks hold secrets of adaptation. The curve of the hummingbird's beak, the scoop of the pelican's pouch, the chisel of the woodpecker's bill, all are tools crafted by time, each perfectly fitted to the life it serves. The woodpecker can hammer at wood without harm to its brain, its skull cushioned against the shock, while the pelican can hold gallons of water in its vast beak before swallowing its catch. Each beak is a story, a biography of survival and place. To reflect on this is to realize how life itself shapes us into what we need to be, how every feature, even in yourself, carries a history of adaptation. And finally, consider the hidden beauty of molting, the shedding and regrowing of feathers. It seems at first a loss, a vulnerability, but it is in fact renewal, a cycle that allows flight to remain strong. Old feathers fall, new ones grow, and the bird becomes refreshed, ready again for the air. This rhythm of loss and renewal is a quiet truth of all life. To let go is to prepare for new strength. As you drift into the deeper layers of rest, imagine yourself shedding the day like worn feathers, making space for new lightness, ready for the flight of tomorrow. As the night stretches its calm hand across the sky once more, imagine yourself drifting into a sanctuary where the lives of birds unfold in soft, dreamlike detail. Their world is vast, yet delicate, filled with hidden marvels that lie waiting like jewels beneath leaves or ripples of air. Tonight, their secrets will come to you in whispers, each fact not a sharp revelation but a gentle unfolding, as if feathers themselves were telling the story. Breathe slowly, let the day slip away, and open the quiet chambers of your mind to the timeless presence of birds. Consider the way some birds sleep. Unlike you, they can rest with half of their brain still awake, one eye open, one eye closed, so they remain aware of danger even in slumber. This gift, called unihemispheric slow-wave sleep, allows them to drift between wakefulness and rest, never fully surrendering, never fully guarding, but living in the balance between. Ducks on a shoreline will align in rows, the outer ones keeping one eye fixed on the world, while the inner ones close both eyes in deeper peace. There is wisdom here, the lesson that rest does not always mean vulnerability, but can be a watchful kind of calm. As you sink into your own rest, imagine that part of you, too, keeps a gentle watch, not with tension, but with trust, so the rest of you can surrender more fully. The colors of birds carry another quiet truth. Feathers themselves are not always painted with pigments, but often shaped to bend light in ways that reveal shimmering blues, greens, and iridescent rainbows. The peacock's tail is one of the most dazzling examples. Each eye-like spot not merely a splash of color, but a miracle of light scattering off microscopic structures. To the human eye, this becomes a display of impossible hues, but to the peacock, it is a language of attraction, of survival, of life itself bursting into patterns. Other birds, like hummingbirds and starlings, shimmer as though woven of liquid jewels. Their beauty is not added paint, but the bending of light itself, showing that sometimes radiance comes not from what is placed upon us, but from the structures deep within. There is also the marvel of flightless birds, creatures who carry the heritage of wings, yet no longer use them to soar. Ostriches, emus, kiwis, and cassowaries remind us that not all birds are bound to the sky. Instead, they have become masters of Earth, their strength in running, hiding, or exploring forests at ground level. The ostrich can outrun most threats with strides that cover vast distances, while the kiwi uses its long beak to probe soil for hidden worms in the night. These beings show us that identity is not rigid. Even with wings, one may choose the earth. Even with the potential for sky, one may root deeply into soil. In their lives lies a reminder that it is not always about rising higher, but about finding a way that suits the place you inhabit. Another gentle truth appears in their parenting. Many bird species take turns incubating eggs, exchanging duties with a rhythm as delicate as a dance. The albatross, whose wings stretch wider than most, returns faithfully to a single partner year after year, their bond enduring across oceans. They meet again after months apart, greeting one another with rituals of synchronized movements, nods, and calls that reaffirm their unity. Penguins, too, show extraordinary care, with males often holding eggs on their feet for weeks through freezing winds, protecting life with patience and devotion. These acts speak not of instinct alone, but of quiet dedication, as if love itself were feathered. In your own rest tonight, feel held by this same devotion, as though the night is incubating you gently until the morning light. The food of birds offers more secrets, for their diets are as varied as the landscapes of Earth. Some live on nectar, others on seeds, some on fish, and still others on the flesh of animals. The flamingo, whose pink color comes from the pigments in the tiny crustaceans it consumes, becomes living proof that what we take in shapes what we are. The beak of the pelican, the spear of the heron, the probing tongue of the woodpecker, each is a reflection of what nourishes them. And so, as you drift toward dreams, reflect on how your own nourishment, be it food, thought, or feeling, colors your being. Birds show us that we are not separate from what we take in, but become, in subtle ways, what we gather into ourselves. There is also the strange wonder of brood parasitism, where birds like cuckoos lay their eggs in the nests of others, leaving them to be raised by unsuspecting foster parents. While it may seem harsh, it is also a strategy of survival, a story of life's many shapes. Yet, even here, beauty persists. Some host birds can recognize the difference and gently remove the foreign egg, showing the delicate intelligence of recognition and choice. Life, even in its trickery, reveals lessons in awareness and adaptation. To think of this is not to disturb your peace, but to realize that even in complexity, life weaves patterns of resilience. Another truth is found in their journeys across water. Albatrosses glide on ocean winds for thousands of miles without beating their wings, using the energy of the atmosphere itself to sustain their endless travel. They may touch land only rarely, their lives a long communion with the sea and sky. Sailors once believed these birds carried the souls of lost seafarers, their endless flights a bridge between the living and the departed. Whether one believes this or not, there is comfort in imagining that each bird at sea is also a keeper of memory, a witness to time's great expanse. As you close your eyes, imagine yourself riding those same winds, held by currents that need no effort from you, your thoughts gliding across the night like an albatross across oceans. Even their eggs hold beauty. The variety of shapes and colors is astonishing. Some are speckled to blend with sand, others a soft blue to mimic the sky, others large and white to withstand cold. The guillemot lays eggs that are pear-shaped, so they roll in circles instead of falling from cliffs. Every egg is a promise, a vessel of possibility, wrapped in a shell that holds the quiet spark of life. Think of how delicate and strong they are at once, and let that duality soothe you. Fragility does not mean weakness, but often the presence of hidden strength. Tonight, imagine yourself like an egg, enclosed in safety, waiting to unfold into new light. Birds also reveal secrets in their ability to live between elements. The puffin, with its bright beak, dives into cold seas and flies underwater with wings that paddle as if sky and ocean were mirrors of one another. The kingfisher, jewel-like, pierces the surface of rivers with such precision that its dives are like arrows of light. To them, boundaries between water and air are fluid, not barriers, but invitations. You too can imagine your own boundaries softening tonight, between waking and sleeping, between thought and dream, between body and sky. Birds remind you that the lines are not fixed, but fluid, and that you may cross gently from one world to the next. And finally, consider the companionship of birds. Many species live in flocks, some vast, some small, but each bird aware of the other, moving in synchrony or calling through distance. Even when separated, their songs are answers, echoes across the trees. Companionship is woven into their being, a constant reminder that life seeks connection. As you drift deeper into stillness, imagine yourself surrounded by such a flock, not in noise or busyness, but in quiet presence, where every being is both itself and part of a larger whole. It is here, in this imagined flock, that your own heart can settle, comforted by the sense that you, too, belong. Night has returned, wrapping the world in stillness, and once again you are invited into the gentle realm of birds, where each flutter, each murmur, each fragile glance is a doorway into secret wonders. As you breathe slowly, the edges of your day blur, and the quiet presence of wings comes to rest beside you, guiding your thoughts into a softer rhythm. Tonight, the birds bring with them new secrets, not hurried or loud, but offered like feathers falling one by one, so light that they barely disturb the air. In listening, you do not gather facts and lists, but stories, each secret woven seamlessly into the next, until the entire night feels like a single unbroken song. One secret lies in their remarkable sense of time. Many birds use the position of the sun during the day and the stars at night to orient themselves, as if the heavens themselves were their map. Young birds learn these celestial signposts by watching the skies from their nests, imprinting the patterns of stars into memory that will guide them later across oceans. Imagine, for a moment, a tiny bird lifting its head beneath a vast canopy of constellations, the same constellations that you can see if you step outside on a clear night. The bird does not name them as you do, but feels them, reads them, lives by them. It is a comfort to know that above us both lies the same map, and that in your dreams, you too may follow hidden stars to safe places. Another wonder is found in the cooperative hunts of certain species. Harris's hawks, for instance, hunt in groups, taking turns to flush out prey, waiting patiently for one another, and sharing the result. Unlike many predators who hunt alone, these birds create a living choreography of teamwork. Each movement is timed with care, and the success of the hunt belongs to all. This secret whispers to you that life, too, is not always a solitary pursuit, that strength lies not only in independence, but in joining with others. As you rest, imagine yourself surrounded by companions who move in rhythm with you, carrying you gently along the invisible currents of trust. Birds also hold in their beaks the ability to craft tools. Crows and rooks have been seen bending twigs into hooks, stripping leaves to create tools, and even dropping nuts onto roads so that cars will crack them open. They reveal that intelligence is not bound by human minds alone, but sings also in dark feathers and bright eyes. When a crow carries a stick shaped for purpose, it is not just instinct. It is invention, a spark of creativity alive in another species. To reflect on this while resting is to understand that the world is wider, more alive with minds than we sometimes remember. Intelligence hums all around you, even in the dark silence outside your window. Among the most delicate marvels are the feathers designed for sound. Not only do birds sing with their voices, but some create music with their wings. The male club-winged manakin of South America vibrates its wing feathers at incredible speeds to produce notes like violin strings, serenading mates without a single call. To think of feathers turned into instruments is to see that the world itself loves music, building melody into bodies and landscapes. As you drift into drowsiness, imagine the air around you humming faintly with such secret instruments, music too quiet for most to hear, but always present, a lullaby hidden within creation. Another gentle truth is revealed in their seasonal changes. Many birds mold into brighter plumage during breeding seasons, then fade back into camouflage when the season passes. The scarlet tanager glows red in summer, yet in winter shifts to greenish hues that help it disappear among leaves. This quiet transformation is like the earth dressing itself in different garments for different times. Birds remind us that change is not deception, but adaptation, the wearing of colors that life asks of us in each moment. You too shift through seasons, moods, and phases, and just as the bird remains itself no matter the plumage, so too do you remain whole beneath all the changes you wear. There is mystery in their voices beyond song as well. Many birds communicate with subtle calls of alarm, of reassurance, of coordination. A small variation in pitch can mean danger from above or danger from below. Chickadees, for example, add more notes to their calls when a greater threat approaches, a hidden code that others understand. The forest is filled with such conversations, most of which you pass without noticing. Tonight, imagine those calls flowing around you in the darkness, not as noise, but as a background murmur of connection, each bird speaking to another in a web of awareness. Even as you rest in silence, you are part of a larger world of signals and whispers, the quiet language of life itself. Among the most curious gifts of birds is their ability to mimic not only sounds, but sometimes entire patterns of language. Parrots, especially African greys, can learn to reproduce human speech with eerie accuracy, even assigning words to objects and ideas. They do not merely parrot, but sometimes demonstrate understanding, showing glimpses of a bridge between minds. When you hear a parrot speak, you hear an echo of your own world shaped in another throat, a mirror held up to remind you that communication stretches beyond species. Tonight, as you move towards sleep, think of this not as strangeness, but as connection, as if voices themselves long to leap from one being to another, crossing invisible spaces. There are also wonders in the extremes of size. The bee hummingbird of Cuba is so small that it can rest in the palm of your hand, weighing less than a coin, its nest no larger than a walnut shell. At the other end of the spectrum, the wandering albatross spreads its wings wider than most rooms, gliding for days without flapping. From the tiniest to the largest, the spectrum of birds shows the vast creativity of life, playing with scale like an artist testing brushes. This range tells you that no size is too small to matter, and no size too great to soar. Whether in miniature or immensity, life finds a way to carry itself with grace. Another secret lies in their relationships with humans through history. Birds have been messengers, companions, omens, and inspirations. Carrier pigeons once carried words across battlefields, their flight faster than any human could travel. Falcons were trained for the hunt, becoming extensions of human eyes and speed. And in countless myths, from Egyptian falcons to Greek owls, birds were symbols of gods, wisdom, or the soul itself. Their presence in our stories is not accidental. It is a recognition that we see in them a reflection of freedom, of transition, of the movement between worlds. As you close your eyes tonight, feel that you too are part of this lineage of connection, your dreams another story whispered into the vast tradition of human wonder at wings. And finally, there is the gentle truth of birds as keepers of balance. They pollinate flowers, disperse seeds, control insects, and keep ecosystems alive in ways often unseen. The tiny hummingbird, sipping nectar, carries pollen from one bloom to another. Fruit-eating birds spread seeds across forests, ensuring new life where none would otherwise appear. Their lives ripple outward, shaping landscapes silently. To think of this is to feel that every small being has impact, every quiet act carries weight. As you settle deeper into rest, know that your own quiet presence also shapes the world in ways you may never fully see. The night opens again like a soft wing around you, and in its embrace the presence of birds returns, not as sharp cries or sudden flutters, but as a slow unfolding of secrets meant only for quiet hours. You are no longer simply lying still. You are being carried, gently, into a story woven of air and feather, where each fact is a hidden star, and each star a light to ease your passage into sleep. Let the world outside grow distant. Let your breath fall into the rhythm of wings. Tonight, new marvels arrive, not with urgency, but with the patience of dawn waiting at the horizon. There is wonder in the way some birds live upon the open sea. The storm petrel, small and dark, dances along waves as if it were walking upon water, its feet tapping the surface lightly as it feeds. Sailors once thought these birds foretold storms, naming them Mother Carey's chickens, but in truth they are simply attuned to the sea's breath. They spend nearly their whole lives on the ocean, touching land only to breed. Imagine what it means to belong so wholly to water and wind, to make of the endless horizon a home. This is their gift, to show that even in vast emptiness, life finds steadiness, as if the world itself holds unseen perches. In the silence of deserts, another secret stirs. The sand grouse of Africa and Asia has feathers shaped like tiny sponges, capable of soaking up water from distant oases. Males fly back to their chicks with bellies full of liquid carried in plumage, droplets clinging until thirsty young press their beaks to drink. It is as if the bird becomes not only a parent but a living vessel, wings transformed into canteens of life. In their devotion, you see a lesson that care can reshape even the body, that love finds ways to flow into form. Tonight, as you rest, think of the comfort that reaches you through unseen channels, how nourishment arrives even in dry places of the heart. Another marvel lies in their sense of smell. For many years, humans believed birds lacked this power, but now we know that vultures, petrels, and kiwis navigate and survive by scent. The kiwi, nocturnal and small, has nostrils at the very tip of its beak, a lantern of smell guiding it to insects and worms beneath the soil. Vultures can detect carrion from miles away, drawn by invisible currents of odor, and seabirds trace the fragrance of plankton carried by winds, finding their way across vast oceans through trails the nose can follow. This sense, once dismissed, reminds us that the world is richer than what our own senses grasp. There are paths in the air we cannot read, yet others move through them with grace. In the frozen stillness of high mountains, the bar-headed goose reveals another secret. It flies over the Himalayas, climbing to altitudes higher than most human plains, where the air is thin and biting cold. With each wing beat, its body endures what would leave most creatures gasping, yet it presses on, guided by the need to reach summer pastures. Scientists have found that its blood carries oxygen with extraordinary efficiency, a gift that lets it move where others could not survive. Imagine this small life gliding above Everest, wings slicing the thinnest sky. It whispers to you that even in the most difficult heights, breath is possible and passage can be made. Another gentle truth lies in the warmth of their gatherings. In cold forests, tiny birds like long-tailed tits huddle together at night, forming clusters of downy bodies pressed close against branches. They share heat through togetherness, each one giving and receiving at once. The picture of such a cluster is almost like a living blossom, soft and breathing, made of many but pulsing as one. In your own rest, you may not feel others pressed around you, but you are still part of a greater circle, warmth passing invisibly from one life to another through kindness, memory, and quiet presence. Birds also tell us of persistence in sound. Woodpeckers drum against trees not only to find food, but also to communicate, their beaks striking rhythms that travel across forests like coded messages. Each species has its own tempo, its own resonance. It is a percussion of life, an ancient music where tree and bird collaborate in sound. To listen to such drumming is to hear determination made audible, not hurried, not frantic, but steady, as if time itself were being measured in taps. Tonight, as you listen to the beating of your own heart, imagine it too as a kind of woodpecker's drum, marking not urgency but continuity. Each beat another reassurance that you are here, you are safe, you are alive. In the darkness, another secret glows faintly. Some species of birds, such as certain parrots and owls, have feathers that reflect ultraviolet light, invisible to your eyes but radiant to theirs. To them, the night holds more colors than you can dream, patterns that shimmer like hidden runes upon plumage. Scientists only recently uncovered this glow, shining ultraviolet lamps on birds to reveal markings that had been there all along, unseen by human sight. To think of this is to feel that the world holds beauty you do not yet perceive, and that even in your own life, hidden colors may glow quietly, waiting for the right light to reveal them. Another quiet marvel lies in the bond between cranes. In many cultures, they are symbols of fidelity, for pairs often stay together for life, dancing each year in rituals of joy. Their dances are not only for mating, but also for maintaining bonds, movements of grace that reaffirm connection. They bow, leap, and extend wings in mirrored gestures, their steps echoing across marshes like ancient choreography. To watch them is to see love expressed not in words, but in movement, not in possession, but in rhythm. Tonight, imagine that the bonds you hold dearest also dance around you, invisible but alive, weaving a pattern of belonging that endures even in silence. And in the farthest reaches of the Arctic, another truth waits. The snowy owl, pale and vast, hunts across endless tundra, its body cloaked in white feathers that hide it against snow. Its golden eyes gleam even in dim light, piercing distances with clarity. This bird, a ghost of winter plains, is both fierce and serene, patient in its stillness. It teaches the power of presence, to sit, to wait, to endure without rush. As you prepare for deeper sleep, let the snowy owl's patience seep into you, a stillness that is not emptiness but strength, a calm that holds all storms at bay. Finally, consider the journey of swallows. Each year they return to the same villages, the same barns, the same ledges, traveling thousands of miles to arrive precisely where they began. Generations weave continuity, a thread of return that ties present to past. In many cultures, swallows are seen as signs of hope, of spring, of renewal. Their flight tells us that departures are not ends, but preludes to return. As you drift into the folds of night, think of your own journeys as circles, not lines, each rest another return, each awakening another beginning. Night has its own language, a hush that gathers in the corners of the room and in the wide folds of the sky. And tonight that language opens again with the presence of birds. They come not as flocks filling the air with clamors, but as quiet messengers, each carrying a story from the great book of life. Their tales are not rushed, not loud, but slow as twilight drifting into dark. As you breathe and close your eyes, imagine feathers brushing across the veil of sleep, guiding you gently deeper, carrying with them truths as soft as dreams. Among their hidden wonders is the gift of navigation by smell of home. Homing pigeons, when released far from where they live, often find their way back with extraordinary precision. For centuries, humans have marveled at this ability, using them as messengers across cities, fields, and wars. It is believed they use not only the Earth's magnetic fields and the position of the sun, but also the faint scent of familiar winds, the chemical fingerprint of their place of origin carried invisibly through the air. Home, to them, is not only a place but a fragrance, a memory carried in the air itself. Imagine, as you lie here, that the air around you too carries the scent of belonging, that wherever you rest, you are already at home. Another gentle truth is found in the ancient birds who never leave the forest floor. The kakapo of New Zealand is a flightless parrot, large and nocturnal, with a mossy green coat that allows it to vanish into foliage. Once thought nearly lost, it has survived through care and protection, living quietly in shadows. Unlike most parrots that chatter, the kakapo hums deep, resonant calls at night, a sound like distant drums rolling through valleys. To think of such a bird is to realize that even silence has music, and that survival does not always mean speed or flight. It can also mean patience, stillness, and blending gently with the world. There is marvel, too, in the way some birds paint the earth. Bee-eaters dig tunnels into sandy cliffs, long corridors ending in chambers where their eggs are laid, hidden safe from predators. Burrowing owls take over holes dug by mammals, filling them with scraps, bones, and sometimes even cow dung to attract insects for food. The land becomes their canvas, reshaped by their presence, carved into sanctuaries. As you drift further into the night, think of how life, like these birds, reshapes the ground beneath us, leaving behind passages and shelters unseen by others, but vital to our own journey. High above, in the far stretches of the sky, another secret unfolds. Swifts are birds so perfectly adapted to air that they spend almost their entire lives in flight. They eat, drink, and even sleep while gliding on winds, closing half their brain to rest while the other half guides them forward. For months they may not land at all, their wings a constant extension of life itself. They are proof that the sky can be a home, not just a passage. Imagine now that you too are gliding, thought and body carried on invisible currents, needing no ground, sustained by the vast openness around you. In such a vision, there is freedom without striving, only the gentle embrace of air. There is wonder in the way birds adapt to the rhythm of light. Some, like the red-eyed vireo, sing tirelessly from dawn until dusk, filling forests with endless melody, as if determined to use every moment of daylight. Others, like the whippoorwill, begin their calls in the night, keeping company with the moon. And then there are those like the rooster, whose crow marks the first blush of morning, a reminder to all that the day has begun. Birds become keepers of time, voices woven into the cycles of sun and moon. Tonight, as you let go of the hours, trust that the birds will sing for you when morning returns, their voices reminding you gently that life continues, steady and sure. Another hidden truth lies in the power of migration that links continents. The tiny blackpoll warbler, weighing less than an ounce, flies nonstop across the Atlantic Ocean from North America to South America, a journey of thousands of miles carried on nothing but fragile wings. It departs in autumn, riding winds, passing over storms, moving through endless nights of ocean until at last it arrives. The feat is staggering, but the bird makes no proclamation of it. It is simply its way of being. To reflect on this is to see resilience clothed in humility. As you lie still, you too are journeying, not across seas but into the vastness of dream, carried with no effort except the trust of letting go. Birds also reveal the power of soundless vision. Owls, whose eyes face forward unlike most birds, see the world with binocular focus, piercing the dark with clarity beyond human sight. They can detect the faint rustle of a mouse beneath leaves, guided by both hearing and vision sharpened for the night. Their heads turn nearly full circles, scanning worlds hidden to others. To rest in their presence is to remember that even in your own darkness, perception continues, not always through eyes, but through other senses, other ways of knowing. Tonight, let this truth soothe you, that even when all seems unseen, your being still navigates with hidden clarity. In distant rainforests, another marvel stirs, the hoatzin, a bird of ancient lineage whose chicks are born with claws on their wings. These claws allow them to climb branches, scrambling with a reptilian grace before they eventually lose them as they grow. It is as if a memory of evolution lingers in their bodies, a reminder of what once was, folded quietly into what is. The sight of a young Hoatzin clambering through leaves is both strange and beautiful, showing that the past is never gone but lives on within the present. As you drift further into dreams, think of the hidden memories that live within you too. Ancient strengths carried in silence, waiting quietly, like claws that once held fast to branches. Birds also carry stories in their longevity. The albatross, once bonded to a mate, may live for decades, flying tens of thousands of miles each year, always returning to the same nesting ground. Some parrots, too, live as long as humans, their lifespan stretching across generations. To think of this is to realize that within each small life may dwell a story longer than many expect, a continuity that holds memory through years of change. You too carry such continuity, your own life a thread weaving across seasons. In sleep, you rest not as an isolated moment, but as part of this long and gentle tapestry. And finally, there is the mystery of plumage that changes not only with seasons, but with age. The bald eagle, symbol of strength, does not grow its iconic white head until years have passed, its youth spent in mottled browns. Only with time does it reveal the form most recognized. This is a quiet truth, that identity unfolds, not all at once, but in stages, each necessary, each beautiful. Just as the eagle grows into its final colors, so too do you grow into your truest self, layer by layer, quietly, patiently. Tonight, as you close your eyes, rest in the knowledge that your becoming is ongoing, and that rest itself is part of this transformation. The night feels deeper now, as if it has drawn a little closer, its silence thicker, its embrace warmer. Within that quiet, the birds return, not in flocks rushing across the sky, but as a soft procession of whispers, each carrying a new secret from their world to yours. Their presence is light, almost weightless, yet it fills the space around you, steadying your thoughts, slowing your breath, guiding you down the gentle path toward dreams. Tonight they offer you more marvels, each one a feathered truth resting lightly in your mind, so delicate you barely feel its touch, yet strong enough to carry you into rest. In the cool of northern nights, there is the secret of the loon. Its haunting call drifts across lakes, low and echoing, as if the water itself were singing. The loon dives with grace, chasing fish beneath the surface, then resurfaces with a cry that seems to hold all the loneliness and beauty of wilderness. For many, the sound is a symbol of solitude, yet it is also a song of belonging, a voice that claims the lake as home. To listen to the loon is to be reminded that solitude itself can be a kind of homecoming, that to be alone with the world is not to be abandoned, but to be held by it. Tonight, as you rest, let that thought guide you. The night does not leave you. It enfolds you, just as the lake enfolds the loon's voice. Far from northern lakes, in jungles thick with life, the toucan reveals another marvel. Its enormous bill, brightly painted in oranges and greens, seems almost impossible for its body, yet it is both light and useful, a tool for plucking fruit from branches too thin to support its weight. The beak also helps it regulate temperature, releasing excess heat into the air. What seems extravagant is in fact practical, a balance of beauty and function. To see a toucan perched among leaves is to glimpse a living painting, but also to realize that beauty need not be separate from survival. In your own being, too, what makes you beautiful may also make you strong. though you may not always see it. There is wonder in the way some birds are architects of community. Sociable weavers in southern Africa build vast nests that hang like thatched roofs from trees and telephone poles, housing hundreds of individuals in a single structure. Within these woven fortresses, families nest side by side, their lives interlaced by walls of grass. Some chambers are cool refuges from heat, others warm havens against cold nights. The nest is not just a shelter, but an entire village in the air. To think of this is to see how life is often richer when shared, how a single creation can hold many hearts. As you drift deeper, imagine yourself within such a structure, surrounded by warmth, by presence, by community, even in silence. Another gentle secret lies in the flamingo's stillness. In shallow waters tinted pink by their presence, flamingos stand gracefully on one leg, heads tucked into their plumage, their bodies reflected in the ripples. Scientists believe this posture helps them conserve energy, their bodies so finely balanced that even in sleep they remain upright. To watch a flock of flamingos is to see living statues, a ballet of stillness painted in rows. Their gift to you is the reminder that rest need not always mean lying down, that balance itself can be rest, that even in the posture of life there is calm. Tonight, let your own body find its balance, whether lying still or simply breathing evenly, your stillness becoming its own graceful pose. High in the sky, swallows trace another truth. They dart and swoop with acrobatic ease, chasing insects on the wing, never tiring of their joyous flight. In spring, they return to the same ledges and barns, weaving mud and straw into cups that cradle their young. To many cultures, swallows are symbols of luck, of return, of hope carried on wings. They remind you that home is not lost, that what you love finds its way back. As you rest tonight, think of the swallows, think of their circles in the sky, think of their endless returns, and let that thought reassure you. What is meant for you will find you again. Another marvel lies in the quiet patience of herons. They stand in shallow water, tall and motionless, waiting with infinite calm for fish to swim near. Minutes pass, sometimes hours, until at last the strike comes, sudden, precise, unerring. This patience is not emptiness, but presence, a trust in timing. To watch a heron is to learn that waiting is not wasted time, but the quiet gathering of energy until the moment arrives. As you close your eyes, let the heron's stillness be yours, reminding you that rest is also a kind of waiting, that sleep itself is a preparation for the dawn to come. Among the most delicate truths is the hummingbird's memory. Though their bodies are tiny, their minds are vast in recall, able to remember the locations of hundreds of flowers, the times of day when nectar will be replenished, and even the paths they took days before. This map of blossoms is held invisibly within them, a knowledge that ensures their survival. To reflect on this is to realize that memory is not simply a weight of the past, but a tool of the present, guiding each step, each sip, each life. Tonight, as you lie down, let your own memories become like blossoms in a hidden garden, not heavy, not troubling, but gentle reminders of nourishment still to come. There is also wonder in the courtship of bowerbird. The males construct elaborate displays, decorating bowers with flowers, shells, berries, even bits of glass or plastic, all arranged carefully by color. They create these galleries not to live in, but to attract a mate, who will judge not just the bower's beauty, but also the care and creativity of its maker. It is art born of instinct, yet it carries the flavor of human creation. To know this is to realize that art itself is not ours alone. It lives in feathers and claws, in beaks arranging petals beneath trees. As you move into dream, think of your own life as a bower, decorated not with objects but with moments, with kindnesses, with the art of simply being. Another secret glimmers in the Arctic tern, whose life is a journey of light. Each year it flies from one pole to the other, chasing summer, experiencing more daylight than any other creature on Earth. Its life is an endless pursuit of the sun, a circle of light across oceans and hemispheres. Imagine such a life, never bound by one place, always moving with the seasons, carried by the longest days. It teaches you that life is not about holding on to one light, but following it, trusting that it will rise again wherever you go. Tonight, let yourself follow your own inner light, into dreams that glow softly even in the deepest dark. And finally, there is the mystery of the lyrebird, master of mimicry. Deep in Australian forests, it sings not only the songs of other birds but the sounds of chainsaws, camera shutters, car alarms. Every echo of its world captured and reshaped into melody. Its repertoire is vast, astonishing, a reminder that the world's sounds are not lost but carried, reimagined, given new life. To listen to the lyrebird is to realize that every voice, every moment, leaves an imprint, and that creation is often the weaving of echoes into new patterns. Tonight, as you drift toward dreams, let your own thoughts be like the lyrebird's song, reshaping fragments of the day into new and gentle harmonies. The night stretches wide again, and with it comes the hush of feathers moving invisibly through your thoughts. You lie as though already floating, and into this stillness arrive the birds, not rushing, not startling, but settling around you with the calm patience of ancient companions. Their secrets tonight are not heavy or loud. They are lighter than air, each one a small drift of wonder that falls into your mind like a feather settling on water. Allow them to rest there, to ripple gently, until the surface of your being grows smoother, calmer, quieter, leading you into sleep. In the distant wetlands, the secret of the ibis unfolds. Its long, curved beak probes the mud, searching for hidden food below the surface, unseen by human eyes. For the ancient Egyptians, the ibis was sacred, linked with wisdom and the god Thoth, the keeper of knowledge and writing. To watch the ibis feed is to see a kind of devotion, head bowed as if in prayer, searching patiently in shadows for nourishment. In this gesture lies a lesson for you, that wisdom is often found beneath the surface, that what seems murky may hold sustenance. Tonight, as you sink deeper, imagine yourself like the ibis, bowing gently, uncovering truths hidden just below the surface of dreams. Far away, in the snowy reaches of the north, ptarmigans carry another wonder. Their feathers change with the seasons. In summer they are mottled browns and grays, blending with tundra and stone, but in winter they turn pure white, vanishing into snow. This is not only camouflage, but also warmth, the plumage thickening to hold in heat against the cold. They are living embodiments of change, shifting attire as the earth itself transforms. To think of them is to realize that you too adapt, that your being knows how to find balance in each season of life. Your rest tonight is one such adaptation, a shift into stillness that sustains you until the world turns again. In tropical canopies, hornbills reveal another secret. When a female lays her eggs in a tree hollow, the male seals the entrance with mud, leaving only a small slit through which he feeds her and the chicks until they are ready to emerge. For weeks, she remains inside, safe from predators, nourished only by his devotion. It is a partnership built on trust, a sealing away not as imprisonment, but as protection. To reflect on this is to see that sometimes safety means surrender, letting another provide, letting yourself rest in trust. Tonight, you too may close yourself into your own safe hollow, trusting the night to guard you until you are ready to rise again. Another gentle truth lies in the way birds travel in V-shaped flocks. Geese and cranes align themselves so that each wing beat reduces the air resistance for the one behind, saving energy for the whole group. They take turns leading, sharing the burden of the front, then falling back to rest in the currents created by others. This quiet rotation is a symbol of cooperation, of shared strength. To think of it is to remember that no journey is truly alone, that even when you feel at the front, bearing the wind, there will be a moment when you can fall back and be carried. Tonight, let that thought soothe you. You are supported by invisible wings around you. In the desert, the roadrunner brings another marvel. With long legs and swift strides, it races across sand, capable of sudden bursts of speed to catch lizards and insects. Though small, it is fierce, moving with agility through harsh landscapes. To many, the roadrunner is a symbol of resilience, of thriving where others might falter. Its presence reminds you that lightness and speed can be forms of survival, that adaptability is not about power alone, but about moving with grace. As you rest, imagine yourself swift not in body but in spirit, able to weave through difficulties lightly, carried toward calmer spaces. Another secret drifts from the open ocean, where frigate birds soar for weeks without landing, their wings so long and light that they seem almost to float rather than fly. They sleep while gliding, half their brains resting as the other half keeps them balanced on currents. To watch them is to see the art of surrender. They do not fight the wind but ride it, letting vast distances pass beneath them. This is their message to you. That rest is not withdrawal but trust, the letting go of effort while still moving forward. Tonight, let yourself ride such invisible currents, drifting into sleep without strain. In the still forests of the night, whippoorwills sing their names in endless repetition. Their calls echo again and again, rhythmic and unbroken, until it seems the very night is speaking. Their song is steady, not hurried, a mantra of presence. To listen is to be lulled by constancy, as though the world itself were reciting a prayer. Imagine now that your own breath is such a chant, repeating softly, without effort, carrying you deeper. The whippoor will teaches you that sometimes peace is not in silence, but in steady rhythm, a sound that becomes the very background of rest. Among the most dazzling truths is the plumage of birds of paradise. Found in New Guinea and surrounding islands, their feathers form impossible shapes, plumes like ribbons, capes like velvet, wires that shimmer with metallic sheen. Males perform elaborate dances, twisting, flipping, spreading their feathers into living sculptures of color. These displays are not simply survival, but celebrations of beauty, of the joy of life itself. To see them is to be reminded that beauty is not frivolous but essential, a force that keeps the world alive. Tonight, let the memory of such colors, even if unseen, brighten the landscape of your dreams. Another marvel lies in the stork's journeys. In folklore, they are bringers of life, carrying children and stories told to explain mysteries to the young. In truth, they migrate across continents, their wings stretched wide as they glide on thermals. They nest atop chimneys, church towers, and old trees, returning each year to the same spot, building layer upon layer of sticks until the nest becomes a monument of generations. Their return has long been a sign of renewal, of cycles turning faithfully. To think of storks is to feel the reassurance of return, that life does not vanish but circles back, each season another chance. Tonight, let that circle carry you, reminding you that rest too is part of a cycle, one that brings you gently toward new beginnings. And finally, there is the hidden truth of the nightjar. Its plumage is mottled browns and grays so perfectly blended with bark and leaves that it vanishes even in plain sight. During the day, it rests motionless, invisible, trusting its camouflage to shield it. Its stillness is profound, a surrender to invisibility. To think of the nightjar is to understand that sometimes the safest place is not in flight, but in quiet blending, in trusting the world to pass by without notice. Tonight, as you drift deeper, let yourself blend too, not needing to stand out or be seen, but resting as part of the vastness, hidden safely within the arms of the night. The night seems endless now, yet not in a way that feels heavy or long. It stretches gently, like the sky itself has grown softer, its edges folding around you. In that quiet vastness, the birds arrive again, their presence subtle and light, as though they have been here all along, waiting for you to notice. They do not come with flapping wings or sudden cries. They settle quietly, like the hush of dusk, bringing with them new secrets to rest in your mind. Each one is not a fact to be collected, but a small wonder to be felt, to ease you into stillness. Tonight, their stories fall one by one, like snowflakes, each different, each dissolving into your dreams. In the high cliffs where waves break against stone, puffins reveal a hidden marvel. With their bright orange beaks and round shapes, they look almost playful, yet they are strong flyers and excellent divers, using their wings to swim underwater in search of fish. Each spring, they return to the same burrows, deep tunnels in earth where their chicks wait, known as pufflings. The devotion to their nests, year after year, across wild seas and storms, is a quiet testimony to constancy. To think of puffins is to think of return, of the steady rhythm of cycles, and it reassures you that even amid turbulence, there is always a place to come back to, a shore within yourself where rest waits. In vast forests, wood thrushes sing songs unlike any other, their voices a cascade of notes that split and overlap, creating harmonies so pure they sound like flutes played by hidden hands. Scientists have found that their syrinx, the bird's vocal organ, can produce two notes at once, weaving them into melodies that seem otherworldly. To listen to a wood thrush is to hear music more perfect than most instruments can create, a sound that feels like the forest itself breathing. Tonight, imagine such music surrounding you, not loud, not demanding, but flowing like water into every quiet corner of your being, until your mind itself begins to sing softly, without effort. Another gentle truth lies in the devotion of penguins beyond emperors. Many species live in colonies, their voices each distinct, allowing mates and chicks to find one another among thousands. Amid the roar of wind and waves, each call is a thread that ties one life to another. To realize this is to see that even in noise, even in chaos, connection holds. In your own life, too, there are voices that know you, voices that would find you no matter how crowded or loud the world becomes. Tonight, let that thought wrap around you. You are not lost, you are always found. Far above, in mountains where air grows thin, condors stretch wings wider than most humans are tall. They glide for hours without flapping, riding thermals that rise from valleys, their black forms tracing vast circles across sky. Once revered as sacred by Andean peoples, they were seen as messengers between earth and the heavens, their flight a bridge between realms. To watch a condor soar is to feel the scale of the world, its immensity not frightening but reassuring, as though the sky itself has room for every being. As you drift further into rest, imagine yourself gliding too, not with effort, but with surrender, carried endlessly upward by unseen warmth. In warmer places, the kingfisher flashes like a jewel over rivers, its feathers bright turquoise and orange, its dives so quick they seem like lightning. It perches patiently, then plunges into water, emerging with a fish held firmly in its beak. The kingfisher's life is one of patience and precision, a reminder that beauty often hides power, that quiet watching can lead to sudden clarity. As you let go of wakefulness, think of yourself as the kingfisher waiting above a river, calm, still, yet ready for the moment to plunge into the deeper waters of dream. Among the reeds of marshlands, bitterns offer another marvel. Their calls are deep, booming sounds that echo like foghorns, carrying across wetlands in the quiet of dawn or dusk. These voices seem too large for such secretive birds, yet they fill the air with mystery. Ancient myths spoke of them as spirits of marshes, their songs rising from earth itself. To hear them is to feel the boundary between seen and unseen grow thin. Tonight, imagine such a voice resonating through you, not alarming, but grounding, reminding you that the earth itself hums beneath your body as you rest. There is wonder, too, in the way some birds decorate themselves not with color, but with dust. Many species, from sparrows to parrots, bathe in dry soil, fluffing their feathers and shaking loose parasites. What looks like play is care, a ritual of health. Dust bathing keeps feathers clean and bodies strong, turning the simplest earth into medicine. This small act reminds you that healing often comes from what is humble, from what lies beneath your feet. As you lie down tonight, think of the earth itself as a blanket, dust and soil transformed into comfort, surrounding you with quiet strength. In deserts, another bird whispers a truth of endurance. The lark sings even in the hottest days, its voice rising above barren landscapes, carrying notes of joy where little else stirs. To hear such a song amid silence and heat is to realize that beauty can bloom even in hardship. That song itself is a form of survival. As you drift into sleep, let the lark's song be a reminder that your own quiet joys matter, even in difficult seasons, even when the world feels sparse. There is also the marvel of parrots' bonds. Many species mate for life, grooming one another's feathers, sharing food beak to beak, and calling back and forth throughout the day. Their affection is visible, tangible, not only survival, but companionship. To watch two parrots preening is to see tenderness alive in feathers and eyes. Their message to you is simple: that care is not only for the young, not only for survival, but for love itself, a daily weaving of closeness. As you rest tonight, imagine such affection cradling you too, even in unseen ways, holding you softly as you drift away. And finally, in the open air where silence reigns, swifts remind you of eternity. Their flight is almost constant, their presence brief yet endless, their wings slicing space with elegance. Some cultures once believed swifts never landed at all, creatures of pure air, belonging not to earth but to sky. Even though we now know they do rest, the myth itself carries beauty. The idea that some lives are so intertwined with air that they are almost spirit. Tonight, let yourself feel the same, that your breath, your body, your being are not separate from the air around you, but part of it, belonging to the vastness.